Hi guys, it's Rampant FM, and well, I never thought I'd do any of these videos. I try and stay as far away from politics as possible, but you guys probably didn't know this until this exact moment when I'm telling you. I actually studied politics and international relations at university, so I've got a bit of a different perspective on Mesut Ozil's retirement from the German national team. I want to preface this and say I do not agree with racism. I pretty much detest anything that's to do with racism. I don't really care about what colour or skin a person is, their background, anything like that. I know obviously I'm a Spurs fan and it's nothing to do with Mesut Ozil playing for Arsenal. I couldn't care less. If it was a Spurs player that the same thing happened to, I would still have the same view. I just want to preface that because obviously it's a political thing and there's going to be different views. There's probably going to be people that unsub to me. It's probably going to be my most disliked video or something. But it's just my point of view from a perspective of the knowledge I have had through my life, especially to do with Turkey. So yeah, Mesut Ozil's obviously cited racism for the reason he has retired from international football, and from what it sounds like, it's all down to this picture. With President of Turkey. Okay, and the reason I do not have sympathy with him in terms of the whole thing, really. I mean, as I said, racism is totally unacceptable no matter what anyone does, obviously, but I do feel he's shot himself in the foot a wee bit with this, because you don't have to look around very hard to know what type of man the President of Turkey is. He's very authoritarian. He's made comparisons with Nazi Germany, how he would like basically Turkey to be like. I've got a friend who's, well, he's actually a Cypriot, but he's from a Turkish family, and he, I didn't know this, it was probably about a year or two ago, he was telling me about all the stuff that goes sort of on in Turkey, and I just couldn't believe it. And this is why I think, at the very minimum, Mesut Ozil, I know he said something about obviously the picture, he would have done it because of his roots and blah blah blah, no matter who it was. It's different. It is different. And I know it's like a political thing. As I say, I don't really want to get involved too much with the politics, but it is very different. He alluded to Luther Matthäus obviously meeting Vladimir Putin, and he said, well, there's double standards. Well, not really, because the World Cup was just in Russia. You're meeting with a guy who his human rights record is not fantastic, in a country that's quite volatile, authoritarian, very anti-Semitic, in my opinion. You're very naive. I know he's obviously proud of his Turkish roots and stuff like that, but you've got, for you to say that, oh well, I didn't see it as a political thing, that doesn't mean other people won't. Look at the likes of James McLean, obviously one of the most sort of disliked players in the British football game, because of his political views. Obviously he's, Northern Ireland, he doesn't really like them, Republic of Ireland. So I don't really have to go too much into that. You just have to type in James McLean and you'll see people say about it. To me, it's the exact same thing, and I don't think Mesut Ozil's like that. But he's really been naive in the whole picture with the president. He's obviously met him before and stuff, blah 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 blah. I don't really know who Reinhard Grindel is, obviously president. He's obviously alluded to him saying some less than favourable things about dual nationality and whatnot, and he kind of roasts him a wee bit and say, well, it was his failings, blah blah blah. At the end of the day, he wasn't on the football pitch. You know what I mean? He was not playing for Germany at the World Cup. And I think Ozil's looking at it a wee bit differently. I know he's obviously been the scapegoat and people have used words like that. But at the end of the day, you wouldn't be the scapegoat if people didn't regard you so highly, if you get what I mean. You're only a scapegoat if you either do something terribly wrong or people expect you to be better. FIFA obviously have rules about different things, obviously, neutrality and politics and blah blah blah. I mean, Germany, I think, wanted to get Ozil out of the team because of this whole picture. They should have really explained it before the World Cup, in my opinion. And I think Ozil alluded that he was going to do that, but the president basically said, he didn't really care too much. He wanted him to focus on his football. Bierhoff kind of went on and changed it, said it was a dead issue, whatever. It's only now that Germany obviously had a terrible World Cup that they've now came out and said all these things. And in fairness to Ozil, and the most respect possible, I don't think he would have been at the next World Cup in 4 years. So it kind of makes me wonder what his intentions were with this. I think he might have always going to. I'm not saying that he's using this as a tool to retire, but I think he might have retired had Germany even won the World Cup. You know what I mean? It's just something that's obviously happened, and he's got a lot of backlash for it, racist elements and whatnot. It's a difficult one, it really is, and I really didn't want to speak about this, but I felt I had to because obviously, with my knowledge about politics, but Turkey in particular, it's not great, and it'll be interesting to see the reaction. I just feel on Twitter a lot of people just see the words racism and then they automatically sort of go with whoever's, I don't want to say playing the victim, because I do believe some of this stuff that he's been dealing with is true, but they sort of just go with it. They just say, oh well, that's terrible and blah blah blah. This is the thing. I mean, I've been to Germany, a lovely country. There is a lot of Turkish people, Turkish Germans, and I don't believe it's not like it's a sort of thing that's happened in the last sort of few years. There's loads of Turkish Germans, and I don't believe that he was made the scapegoat because of his nationality. I think it might have been an element, but again, it comes down to the fact that everyone rated him as probably one of the better footballers. That's my opinion. I don't know. You guys might disagree, but at the end of the day, he even alludes to it himself. Well, Grindel wanted me out because of the photograph, and because of this photograph, I lost out on these charity events. I couldn't go back to my school. At the end of the day, it was him that took the photograph of the president of Turkey, who's a less than favourable person. So that's just my quick thoughts. I know you guys like hearing my rants about stuff. Let me know what you think.